This is Yurt the Turk, and we are continuing on our quest to get 7 wins with our white-green deck that we just drafted. We have the Ooze, we have the Angel, that is a generic 4/3 flyer. Let's see if we can pull this off. King save 88. Alright, alright. Opponent's going first. We have our bombs, we have some early plays, so all we gotta do is hope for some lands. Let's keep this. Merfolk Windrobber is a very aggressive and powerful start. We will gladly trade our Kitesail Cleric for it. Our opponent declines to trade, so we will go right ahead and play our Gnarlid Colony here. We're not looking to attack or go aggressive because our win condition is still sitting in our hand. Ooh, our opponent attacks, so let us do that. We will gladly trade that. Scale the Heights gives us 1/1 counters. That is excellent. So, what do I go with, though? I think I go with Skyclave Sentinel, because I don't want the Ooze to get countered. So let's attack with the Gnarlid and see what happens. They take 2 damage. Pretty solid, pretty solid. Myriad Construct. Wow, okay, so that's a really fat creature, and quite scary, honestly. What we're going to do here is cast our Prowling Felidar, and call it a day. If it comes to that, we will double block the Myriad Construct. Oh, he's going to gain a bunch of life. Our opponent declines, which is good news for us. So now we can, if I drop a Plains, I already have my landfall creature in play, so that is fine. Gets landfall. I will play my Scale the Heights can get us attacking already. But we need the Ooze. We need the Ooze to have a 1/1 counter on it already, so we get trample with the colony, but we definitely need more 1/1 counter. We need the Ooze to be big, so let's stick the 1/1 counter just to be sure. And we don't have any more attacks, so we will just pass the turn and call it a day here. Protector. Okay, so it looks like we're taking 4 damage potentially here. If they attack with the Myriad, we'll just let it go. Our opponent is blocking with his Core Celebrant, so okay, I suppose I will double block the Core Celebrant and see what's up. I don't care about either of those creatures, so I suppose our opponent just made a bad attack. I'm not sure what that was about. So now we're going to have to cast Scale the Heights here. We will give a 1/1 counter onto Skyclave Sentinel, but our opponent already concedes, so we will call that a win and move on to the next. Here we are, 1/1. Gotta change my text here. 1/1. And I think I gotta delete this play part or else it's gonna be on my face. Let me check how that looks. Alright, here we go. Green Mind is our opponent. Our opponent's going first. We have to scale the heights to search for another planes, but this is a pretty bad hand for us. Our only support card here isn't even playable because we don't have that. We don't have another planes. The gerbil isn't necessarily going to keep us alive by itself, but I guess our best hope is now playing the gerbil and then scale the heights onto the gerbil for a white land, and we'll go from there. So because this is not the absolute worst hand we could possibly get, we're going to go with it, but it is pretty bad. I would not be surprised if this led to a loss. But for us to play, our opponent needs to make up their mind. I guess that's a water break. Alright, Yordle. Yordle loves water as well. And so should everyone watching this video. If you haven't drunk any water in the last hour or so in this cold winter weather, I'm assuming this is winter because this is when I'm filming it, you should drink water. Actually, if you're watching this during any other season, if you haven't drunk any water in the last hour, you should seriously consider drinking some water. So our opponent is roping, so maybe they joined the game and forgot about it. So what is the deal here? All right, I guess we'll just keep the hand like we said we would, even though it's not ideal. And it really looks like our opponent is just chilling. Do 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 do. Wait, I can't play those sounds, can I? It's a parody. I'm making it with my mouth. Our opponent is roping, so if they rope without making a move, they will lose their turn, which actually isn't too bad for our opponent, considering our hand is not even close to ideal. I mean, our deck is already low on the 1 and 2 converted mana cost, so we wouldn't be looking for too many plays early on anyway. So, the fact that we just drew a forest is not a good sign for us. Okay, so our opponent is back. And we are again missing the white mana. So we're in for a lot of hurt right now. A lot of hurt. A lot of hurt. 2 of them? Oh man, are you serious here? Jerboa is going to trade with one of them if I cast that. If I play Forest and cast Prowling Regrowth, I can sacrifice a Forest for 2 planes. And next turn I'll have 5 mana to cast the Ox, so maybe that's what I'm gonna do. So the Gerbil's not gonna help us anyway. I think we just might have to suck it up and take 6 damage next turn, which is really bad, because if our opponents pumps either one of those up, we're going to be in a very bad shape. They do not. Wow. Okay, so I think unfortunately our deck gave up on life. We can cast the Jerboa and have Might of Marasa as a surprise here. We can Nahiri's Binding one of the creatures, which would be paired Tactician, which wouldn't be bad either. No, we can't tap out all the green lands, so 1, 2, 3, Gerbil. We'll cast the planes here, and then pass the turn. Our opponent attacks, puts a 1/1 counter on the Tactician. So we get +3/+3. Will be a 4/5 creature. So we're going to have to block, I guess, this guy, and then we'll Might of Marasa the Jerboa. If they kill our Jerboa, we are in very not good shape. So we traded 1 card for 1, and the next turn we will have, unless they kill us, we'll have the Ox to come out. They'll have to deal with the Ox as well. So we are looking slightly better, except they just played another pair Tactician. Here, what we will do is play our Ox because, yeah, what else can we do here at this point? Ooh, we can drop this as a land, but it comes into play tapped. If we do come into play tapped, though, no, next time we have Scale the Heights, so I think this is fine. We will be dangerously close to losing. If our opponent has any combat trick here, we basically lose. Our opponent indeed goes for the attack. And we'll have to go for the blocks. Our opponent has another creature. And I definitely should have cast this last turn because now I don't have enough blockers to survive. Skyclave Sentinel. Yeah, that was a misplay. I needed to put the land in last turn so I can play 2 cards this turn. The shelter isn't going to do us any good, so that was a miscalculation. And we are going to pay with that for our lives. Our opponent attacks with both creatures, and he will save his mana to pump his Ambusher. So the best we can do is block this guy and hope he doesn't pump his creature. But our opponent does, and we take the L. Moving right on to the next one. We're at 1-2. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Not ideal, not ideal. We did have a misplay just now. I think we had enough cards in our hand to potentially stabilize. So we're going first. We're drawing some nice cards, but again, we're not having very much luck with our mana base, so hope for the best, I suppose. Not a land is not good. Cleric of Chill Depths is not a very aggressive creature, so we're happy with that. We see our 3rd land, so that is excellent. We will get our Skyclave Sentinel out. We don't need to Nahiri's Binding that quite yet. Not a priority, so let's get our Sentinel out. And if we draw a land, we'll cast Prowling Felidar. Ooh, a 2/2 flyer. That's kind of scary. We do not draw a land, however, we can play the Ooze and start attacking, or we can cast Scale the Heights hoping to draw a land, or we can just cast another Skyclave Sentinel. So whatever our opponent does, we'll just double block the flyer and hope for the best. Mind Drain will force us to discard some cards here. So I suppose we'll discard the Scale the Heights and the Angel. I think those are our two weakest cards. So had I known they would be playing Mind Drain, I would definitely have cast the Ooze, so then the Ooze would be in play and we'd end up discarding the Skyclave Sentinel instead. So our opponent goes for Roost of Drakes, so that means we need to turn it on and go more aggressive. So here we are, Prowling Felidar makes an appearance. I hope our opponent did not run a second copy of Mind Drain. That would be very depressing. Our opponent does not, so let's go. The Hiri's Binding enchant permanent activated abilities can't be activated, but it's not activated, it's a triggered ability. So we don't have a land to get our Felidar up, however we do have an Ooze here. Put 1 counter on each creature with a 1 counter on it. Well, unfortunately, I don't have really anything to put 1 counters on, so I think I might just have to put it on the Skyclave Sentinel, because the Ooze is going to become a big target anyway, so I'd much rather have something I can attack with right now than wait for more cards that will give us 1/1 counters. If we had the Scale the Heights in our hand, I would have probably put the 1/1 counter on the Ooze itself, so we can do a surprise attack instead. However, that being, where we are, that's not what we were given. So let's see what happens if we put Nahiri's Binding onto our opponent's wizard, and then we attack with all of these creatures. Our opponent blocks our Felidar, which is an odd choice because our... I can see why he did that. He didn't want his creature to die, but I honestly thought he would have blocked the Ooze instead. Because if the Ooze can attack, our Sentinel will just grow bigger. And right now, our Felidar can still attack. Our opponent is gearing up for another Mind Drain, which is fine. So which card would I rather have in play? I think I would rather have my Gnarlid Colony in play at this point. The Scythe Cat is going to take forever to grow, so I think I'm going to have the Gnarlid here, so I have Flying Trample. Yeah, let's do that. And I will attack with the Blightblade and our Skyclave Sentinel. Attacking with the Ooze is aggressive. They can just trade for it, which is not what I necessarily want to do right now, and I don't think I need to do that much damage that quickly. So let's go with this. Okay, our opponent makes the easy blocks, but we do have trample, so blocking that might not have been the best idea for him anyway. So yeah, he makes the decision to keep it alive. I think he's hoping to see more cards with kicker, so now we lose our last card in our hand, but it's mostly irrelevant right now because we don't have that many lands coming in anyway. Our opponent is flooding out like crazy. And he's running more than 40 cards in his deck. Don't do that, my friends. It's never worth it. Our opponent kicks it. Ooh, okay, so we can put Dauntless Survivor. We put the 1/1 counter on the Ooze. And then this is going to become a 4/4. So it's going to be way too big for our opponent to deal with. And now we can just attack with everything and call it a day. Our opponent is saying good game, so maybe we say good game. I don't know. I think if he draws the right cards, he can still win. Not sure if he realizes he can actually just block the Ooze and survive, but alright, I guess if you want to make suboptimal decisions, we'll take it. Yurt the Turt is happy about that. Yurt the Turt's victory dance. Look at him flop his arms around. What's next? On to next. We are now 2-2. Can we make it to 7? Coming from behind with a 2-2 record. We go first. We see only green sources, but we have plenty of card draw and a 1/1 token creature, and technically this is a plains. So let's keep 7 and hope we draw into what we need. Joint to Fort and Strip Fang. Hello, hello. Thanks for dropping by if you guys are here and can hear me, those of you in chat. Always appreciate it, even if you're not directly watching, or actively watching, I should say. Forest here, Dauntless Survivor. Alright, gets us to a 2/2 creature. Our opponent casts Acquisition Expert. We will show them the... what card don't we care about? Boiling Regrowth if we draw Landfall. Sejiri Shelter, we need to keep our creature alive. So I guess we'll give the Might of Marasa here. Or... no, we need the land to get to that. So yeah, we'll have to give the Might of Marasa here. Not sure if that's the right idea, but alright, apparently it was not the right idea because we draw a plains here. We will play Scale the Heights on our creature. We draw Territorial Scythecat, so we're going to have to stop our card drawing here. We will attack. And see how this goes. We don't want to play that extra land because we drew Territorial Scythecat, and we need to put as many 1/1 counters on it as possible. Our opponent does nothing. So now we will attack for 3 before we do anything. Our opponent blocks. And cast Subtle Strike, but that's okay because we have the Sejiri Shelter. +1/+1. -1/-1. We become a 2/2. They become a 2/3. So, do I care about this? It will stall us from getting our Scythe Cat out, but I'm not sure. Because if they kill the Scythe Cat, we're going to be in a very bad place. So I think we're going to have to protect this from black. And get rid of our opponent's creature. And unfortunately, we are going to be stuck with 3 lands again. So let's see what happens. Our opponent hits the board with the Constrictor. And 1 land. Not too scary, not too scary. So here we will cast the Scythe Cat. Or let's attack first, let's attack first. Same play, same play. Our opponent probably has that card where you put a 1/1 counter on target creature, but hey, I gladly trade for that. So now we cast Territorial Scythe Cat. And we start dropping lands. Our Territorial Scythe Cat is going to become massive next turn, so I'm hoping our opponent spends their mana, so we don't have to deal with any nasty potential counterplays. Oof. The Blightblade is a little bit depressing. Our opponent attacks with the Menace creature, which is fine. So, now we can rely on maybe the Skyclave Sentinel to do some work. So yeah, we'll put the 1/1 counter in play. We'll cast the Skyclave Sentinel. We don't need it with kicker because that's very expensive anyway. And then let's just hang back. Next turn, we're looking to cast Scale the Heights onto the Skyclave Sentinel, so we can start attacking in the air. Our opponent casts their own Territorial Scythe Cat and drops a land, but their cat is much smaller than ours, so sucka! Here we are, Scale the Heights. We'll put the 1/1 counter on the Sentinel, and we see another Sentinel, which is excellent. So we will drop a land here and cast our second Sentinel. And then we can start attacking for 3. Kent Master 900. What is Kent? No, Kino. Oh, I'm thinking Kino. I'm thinking Kino from Neopets, and I thought that was Kent for whatever reason. That's weird. Anyway, all right. So our opponent has or did nothing, so we can just drop this forest. The Rolling Regrowth isn't instant, so we can save that as in our back pocket and do nothing except attack with our flyer this turn. Our opponent just cast Deadly Alliance, destroying our Scythe Cat, which is slightly interesting. I'm not sure why they're not destroying our flyer. So now our deck is not looking so good because we have a million lands and nothing to play. So as soon as they find a way to deal with our flyers, we are on our way to Loseville. Our opponent's creature here has Menace and Trample, so that's pretty scary. Our opponent has a 5/4 body in Turn Timber Ascetic, so that's not good. So maybe the best bet for me would have been just to attack with the Territorial Scythe Cat earlier. Our opponent is still not attacking. I'm not sure what the... How is this possible? Holy crap. I have... How's 6, 7, 8 lands in my hand? Are you kidding me? I have 8 lands in my hand. Unbelievable. Or 8 lands in play with 23 cards, so half of what I've drawn, 17 cards. Okay, so our opponent is running a very similar deck, but they have way more damage on board than we do. Luckily, we still have enough on board to block his Ascetic with our 2 creatures. But our opponent chooses not to attack. I think that is a little bit unwise on their part. So now I don't know if I want to cast Rolling Regrowth. So if I find a Gerbil or something, Landfall would become relevant. But if I cast Rolling Regrowth, it will thin out the deck, so I'm more likely to draw cards. I don't know what the right play is here, so I'm just gonna go. Ooh, Prowling Felidar. We are rewarded. So let's cast that. And then let's attack with our Sentinel here. And end the turn. And use Roiling Regrowth as a surprise. We can grow the Felidar to a 4/5 creature at instant speed. Ooh, wow. Okay, Skyclave Shadowcat comes in. That's pretty scary. That's a lot of 1/1 counters just floating around here, casually. 6/5. I think I can afford to take 6 damage here for now. Here, I think I have to cast this. No, I don't have anything in my deck that's this expensive. If I draw the McKindy Ox, it's game over for my opponent. So let's keep that in mind. Ooh, we find the Jerboa? Okay. Can we do anything with that? It's just gonna block the Blight Blade. No, I think, yeah, we'll just attack with the Skyclave Sentinel and then use the Roiling Regrowth on defense. I think that's our play here. Our opponent does have a lot of menace. Okay, our opponent has Acquisitions Expert, so we're going to cast our Roiling Regrowth here. We will sacrifice a forest. We'll bring in 2 planes. And we've effectively made our board very massive. And our opponent is looking for lethal. I don't think they have it. And our opponent passes. Alright, so we have Prowling Felidar. So we don't have lethal either. So the best we can do is attack with our Sentinel. We'll drop the Felidar. For more chump blocking action. Friend, why would you do that? You just lost Menace. I can chump block your creatures for days now. Okay, so but our opponent sacrificed his Constrictor, which gives all of your creatures 1/1 counters with Menace. He sacrificed that for the Shadow Cat to draw a card, I suppose. Ah, he brings it back with the Blood Beckoning. Alright, so he did have a plan. So our opponent has a lot of Menace creatures now. We can only block 2 of them, and I don't think they have enough to kill us because we are at 14 life. So what we can do here is just double block as efficiently as we possibly can. So we want this and this. That doesn't have trample, so we can, so that's 4 damage, 6, 6/5 doesn't have trample, but we need to spend 2 blockers on it. Or alternatively, we can block the Felidar here. And we can block 6 Death Touch. Suppose we block this, and we block, no? We need 5 here, 6 here. And the gerbil, I suppose. Oh, what is this? That also has Menace? Okay, so not that. I will block the Shadow Cat instead. The Shadow Cat will grow, however. 4, 5. And the gerbil. Those 2. And the Felidar, so I suppose the Felidar will block like this, 6, 11. If he has Might of Marasa, I'm in big trouble. So I will have to block the bigger creature here and not be greedy. Block the bigger creature. Block the bigger creature. And then the Felidar will have to block whatever I can block left, which is that. So let's see what happens here. As long as our opponents can't do lethal to us, Might of Marasa adds 3. So that's 8, 9 plus 3 is 12. So by my calculations, the most damage our opponent can do to us is 12. Okay. So our opponent does get to draw a bunch of cards. We see Kitesail Cleric. And here we attack with all of our creatures and claim victory. Whew. Oh, hello Eva Designs. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for following. I appreciate it. I hope you are having a great day. Let me update my text here before I continue chatting with you. 3-2. Oh, nice. So you are looking for customized graphics for my stream and you're running a holiday deal. Well, I am not interested. I'm sorry, Eva Designs, because I actually just bought my own art tablet, and I plan to draw my own graphics for my channel. But if you do DM me your portfolio on somehow Discord, my email, I'll take a look and I can spread the word for you if you'd like, even though I am not interested in your services. So our opponent is going first. We have a Skyclave Sentinel, an Angel, a Might of Marasa, a Roiling Regrowth here. I think that's good enough. Let's keep it and go. Yeah, no problem, Eva Designs. Sounds good. I will do that. All right. So we are going now. We drop the forest. Yeah, thanks for dropping by. I like the hustle. Going around just asking new streamers if they need help with their stream. Well, good for you. Here we are. We still have no plays, but it's okay. Our deck doesn't really do anything until turn 3 anyway, so we are going to hope for the best. Marauding Blight Priest is not going to be too much of a problem for us. We will drop the forest, we will drop the territorial Scythe Cat. I should have considered dropping the planes there first because we have the Legion Angel, so if next turn we draw planes, we could already be casting the Legion Angel. Mind Drain forces us to discard 2 cards. Again, we'll drop the Might of Murasa, and we'll drop the Ox here. Or actually the Skyclave Angel. We don't have any way of getting 1/1 counters at the moment, so let's get rid of those 2 cards. Our opponent attaches Mind Carver to his Marauding Blight Priest. Pretty scary. Our opponent chooses not to attack. So we are going to drop the planes, and then we are going to hold Roiling Regrowth because the lands come into play tapped. So there's nothing much we can do with that. Sorry, what am I talking about? Yeah, because they come into play tapped, there's nothing much we can do. So we are going to pass the turn. So that is a payoff. I don't get to get Legion Angel in play a turn early, but at the same time, we get to see what our opponent's deck is trying to do before throwing all of our cards out there. So our opponent is making us discard another card. This time, I think it's going to be our one of those cards. So he's going to see 2 cards, and I suppose we're going to have to show our planes here, and our Ox is actually not bad, but it's too slow, so we're gonna show him the Ox. Our opponent chooses the Ox. Opponent is attacking for 4. I'm going to let that pass. And then see what our opponent ends up casting. Roiling Regrowth here. Vanquish the Weak kills our creature, but we do get a bunch of lands, so we sacrifice our forest and bring in 2 planes. And now we are left with a whole bunch of lands and nothing to do with it. So unfortunately, we are not in a very good position. However, we do have the Vastwood Fortification 1/1 counter that might save us. we're both of us are flooding out here. He has 6 lands. We have 6, but you know we cast what was that? Roiling Regrowth here. Our opponent is attacking. If we block, the Acquisition Explorer is going to get huge next turn. If we don't block, we're going to be in a lot of trouble anyway. But it's a 4/2, so it's not too big of an issue for now. So I think we'll just leave it for now. Okay, we see a Raptor, which is a much more pleasant blocker. So we will cast the Tazim Raptor. And I don't need to return a land to my hand, so I will decline. And because we are on the back foot, we will just leave it. Don't think we can go aggressive just yet. Is our opponent willing to trade? No, he is not, so our opponent passes the combat step. Ghastly Gloom Hunter comes into play. Very scary. It is a 3/3 lifelinker. We keep drawing more lands, so here we go. We will play the land and pass. The Mind Carver does give his creature +3/+1, so unfortunately that's going to become 4/3, 5/3, 6/3. Oh man, that's a 6/3. Equips it onto the bat. So it's going to get another +2/+1. It's going to be a 6/4. There isn't a way for me to survive that. So unfortunately for me, as soon as I cast this card, it's going to meet the threshold and become huge. And then I won't be able to kill it, so I think my best bet is actually just to sacrifice my 2 creatures like this. I can't believe that's the case, but that's what it is. And our opponent makes his Gloombat indestructible. So our opponent, despite being mana flooded, has drawn exactly what he needs to win. So that is very painful. We have the Jerboa, but that's not going to do anything, so we are very close to conceding. There is definitely not very much we can do at this point. So, was discarding Makindi Ox a mistake? It seems like it might have been. What did we discard? We discarded Might of Marasa and Skyclave Sentinel. I think that might, yeah, I think we might have gotten greedy with that there. We should have just discarded a land or something. I mean, we were forced to discard a lot of cards. keeping the Angel in our hand was definitely the right play. Maybe getting rid of discarding the Roiling Regrowth would have also been an okay plan. Be that as it may, the best we can do is cast Skyclave Sentinel with the kicker. It does make it so that we can block. But I don't think that's going to be enough to keep us alive. So, yeah, we only have 2 blockers, so the best we can do here is block this flyer, block this, and then lose. Well played, sir. You have defeated us. So our end record here is 3-3. Let me change that. And that's it for our run. Let's take a look back at the deck and see what went right and what did not go right. So, what went right is that we did get the landfall going somehow, but it was not enough for us to win. We did get the ooze attacking and growing our creatures, so that was quite exciting. Our Skyclave Sentinel once again became active attackers once we got Scale the Heights and Dauntless Survivor 1/1 counters on it, so that was quite exciting. What went wrong was that I think we definitely didn't draw a good mana base very often. Having to rely on drawing double planes or not having anything to play really until turn 3 felt like it slowed us down a little bit. I think our opponents did get a little bit lucky with some of their efficient removal spells. We did see a handful of those here, but overall, I think you know, we had a chance. We tried to do what the deck was trying to do, but we just didn't have enough power at the end of the day to claim the victories. Thank you so much for watching. I might be continuing this stream afterwards, after a short break. But if you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in a bit.